All right, so welcome back for another deep dive.
Yeah.
We're going to do another one. He's hooked from the first line.
Yeah.
And this one I'm excited about because it's a book I read a couple times, and I actually really like this book.
Yeah.
But it's Thomas Pynchon,
Okay.
The Crying of Lot 49.
I've heard of it.
Have you heard of this book?
Yeah, I've heard of it.
Okay, so you know that it's dense, it's postmodern, got a lot going on.
Yeah.
And the first line of this book is kind of like that too.
Oh, really?
It's either you love it or you hate it.
Okay.
There's no in between.
Interesting.
And so I'm curious to get your take on it.
Yeah.
But before we even do that, let's just read the line.
Okay.
And I'll read it for the listener.
Sounds good.
One summer afternoon, Mrs. Oedipa Maas came home from a Tupperware party that had lasted all afternoon to find that she, Oedipa, had been made executrix of a will.
Wow. That's a mouthful.
So what's your first impression?
Well, first of all, I'm struck by how, this very mundane image of a Tupperware party is immediately juxtaposed with something as, serious and potentially life-altering as being named the executor of a will.
Right.
It's
it's weird.
Yeah, it's very strange.
And that's Pynchon for you, right?
Yeah.
It's like the normal and then something's off.
Exactly. And it's not even a clear sense of what's off. It's just this underlying feeling of unease.
Yeah, and I think what adds to that is the repetition of her name.
Oh, yeah. She, Oedipa.
Yeah, why?
It's almost like he's emphasizing her identity, or the fact that her identity is about to be, called into question.
Yeah, is this foreshadowing?
I think so.
Okay.
I mean, especially when you consider her name Oedipa.
Right. It's
clearly a play on Oedipus.
Yeah.
The Greek tragic hero,
Right.
Who famously blinds himself after discovering a terrible truth.
Yeah, it's there's a lot there.
Yeah, a lot to unpack.
And we haven't even talked about the Tupperware party that lasted all afternoon.
Oh, right.
How long are these parties?
I know, right?
Is this some kind of Pynchon joke?
Maybe he's just poking fun at Suburbia.
Right. But even that adds to this kind of absurdist humor.
Definitely.
That runs throughout the whole book.
Yeah, and that's what makes Pynchon so interesting.
Yeah.
You never know when he's being serious or when he's pulling your leg.
Okay, so let me just come right out and ask you.
Yeah.
Do you think this opening line is great?
That's a tough one.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say it's a traditional hook.
Oh, but
it's not super attention grabbing.
Right.
But it's definitely intriguing.
Yeah.
It kind of draws you in slowly.
Okay.
And as you read on, it starts to make more and more sense.
And it makes you want to keep reading, right?
Exactly. It's he's giving you just enough information to pique your curiosity.
Right. So we have all these questions.
Right.
Who was this will for?
Mm-hmm.
What is the crying of Lot 49?
Yeah.
What even is that?
Good question.
And is Oedipa actually going to find answers?
Or is she just going to descend further into madness?
Exactly. So it's not maybe the most immediately gripping line, but it does its job.
It sets the tone.
It sets the stage, and it makes you want to figure out what's going on.
Absolutely. And I think that's key with Pynchon.
Yeah.
He's not going to spoon feed you anything.
You got to work for it.
You got to work for it, but the rewards are definitely there.
All right. So for all you listeners out there thinking about diving into the trying of Lot 49, keep this opening line in mind.
Yeah.
Pay attention to the details.
Yeah.
The names.
The repetition.
The repetition.
The subtle humor.
Yeah, because Pynchon is all about those subtle clues.
He is.
That lead you down a very strange and wonderful rabbit hole.
Exactly.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us for another deep dive.
My pleasure.
And we'll see you next time
See ya.
for another Hooked on the First Line. See,